Hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. I'm Trinice,
This is Latricia.
and we are once again back. We have not named our podcast. I'm going to just say Empower Her for the moment. And if you're new to us, go ahead and subscribe if you choose to go on this journey with us. And make sure you hit that notification button so that you don't miss an episode. But I hope that you are in a place in a space to be able to jot down notes, take notes, because this episode you don't want to miss any of the gems that are going to be dropped. Tonight's topic is about relationships and business. And I'm not talking about just networking with people. No, I'm talking about being single and being married while building the business or on your entrepreneur journey, right? And
Right?
if you do not know, go back and watch a previous episode where we share more about ourselves, and you'll see what we have going on. And if you do not know, you will know in this episode who's married and who's not. So, Latricia, you want to chime in and welcome the audience and just start us off?
Yeah, we are excited to be back for another episode and just really see this podcast grow. And as both, Trinice and myself get comfortable with this process and growing. So that's number one. Number two, uh, the more we learn about each other, the more that you're going to learn about us as well as learn about yourself. So make sure that you're engaging through this process. We want to hear from you. Put in the comments your thoughts throughout this process because 9 times out of 10, what your thought may be helpful to someone else too. So just keep that in mind. So, like she said, we're talking about relationships and business today, and specifically with being single and being married. And when I think of single, let me put this disclaimer out there. You are single,
Japan.
right? You are single until the day you say I do. Let me put that out there because
Okay, okay.
by tax law, when you get ready to file them taxes, they don't ask you, are you engaged? They say, are you single, married,
Married. Mm-hmm.
or married separated or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, married but
Like head of
separated.
household and something else.
Something
Yes.
like, yeah. So we talking about legal status, right?
Yes.
Because we not going off of speculation. We not saying that the ring is on the way. We not saying
Good.
anything like that. We want to be for sure that we are locked in. So definitely that disclaimer. And I'll start for me. Like, man, when I started the business, I didn't have nobody. Like, it was just me. Um, and when you are single and doing a business, you have a lot of flexibility to be able to just um do whatever you want. Like, I don't even know any other way to describe it, but you really do have the flexibility because the time, it seems like time is infinite in so many ways, because you know that if you want to stay up till midnight to do work on a project, there's not anyone saying, hey, don't you need to go to bed, don't you have to go to work in the morning, or um man, especially depending on how you take your roles or whatever, don't you have to like get up and cook breakfast or wash clothes or do all these other stuff that may be obligations on you in relationships. So I would say, like, definitely in the beginning, like being single, like just having an unlimited, well, what seemed to be an unlimited source of time, that was probably like the one thing that is very easily, can be very easily taken for granted. What's your thoughts on that, Shanice?
I do agree, but I guess because I'm coming from another perspective.
Okay.
I do enjoy the freedom of the time, so to speak, as we're saying that you don't have to pause for the cause to eat dinner with your spouse, or pause for the cause to say, okay, this date night, or this the quality time that I'm spending with my spouse, versus I could be doing something for the business, right? But
Right.
also, as I'm looking at it through my eyes, it's as if, okay, I'm doing it, I'm on a journey alone, but what if I had partnership? So that
Mm-hmm.
could actually take some of the work, the work schedule, some of the activities that I have to do off of my list, because I might have somebody in partnership with me. And
Yeah.
they might have the gifts that I'm missing, they might have them.
Right.
So I guess through that perspective, it's kind of iffy, right? Depending on the way that we
Mm-hmm.
look at it.
Yeah.
So it's a benefit, or it could not be a benefit, just depending on where we at. So
Right.
I do enjoy the fact that at any given moment, like I do, can stay up throughout the night. And if I choose to get up early to work on the business before I go to my job, then I could do that. And there's no other extra tasks, no, for like kids or with the
Mm-hmm.
spouse. I don't. You're right. I do not have that. So that freedom, I do enjoy it. But like I said, at the same time, I'm wondering if I had partnership, with some of the weight be reduced.
Right.
What do you
Right.
what do you think on that?
I I would say that the weight being reduced, that's a heavy term.
Okay.
Like just putting those two words together, like I'm processing it,
Okay.
and I would say I don't know if the weight is reduced. And from my perspective, I think the weight shifts. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Go deeper.
So
Go deeper with that.
yeah, yeah. So when I say the weight shifts, and so if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm married.
Yeah.
So yeah, the weight shifts. So when I say the weight shifts, this was probably like one of the toughest adjustments when when I got married. So my husband and I got married March 21, and I mean March 22, I'm sorry. March 22, and it was tough. It was tough because there were some boundaries that I didn't put in place while I was single, which made the transition harder. Because while I was single, like it was very easy. Like I said, like say for instance, if I know I got to put some content out, or if I know like I got some coaching clients, it was very easy for me to be like, you know what? When I get home, I'm gonna sit down at the computer. I'm gonna work till 9 o'clock. I'll, I'll eat a bowl of cereal. And I love cereal, by the way. That's yeah, that hasn't changed. But I eat a bowl of cereal in between like that 15-30 minute gap in between clients, or like just taking 15-20 minutes away from the computer to eat that bowl of cereal. Then I'll just go back at it, and I'll work literally until it's time to go to bed. Now my bedtime has not changed. I was rocking 9:30 well before he came into the picture, and he'll tell you I would tell him like I'm ready to go to bed. Like we not gonna be on the phone all night. So but that was probably like the hardest transition to to be more efficient with my time. To be like, okay, like tonight, for example, I had to tell him like, hey, babe, I need you to cook on these days because I have to work, blah blah blah. So the weight was reduced in the fact that he's and because my husband is amazing, he's willing to carry part of that load because I know I will just eat a bowl of cereal. But he's like, no, baby, you need to eat a full meal. So he will cook the baked chicken, the rice, the field peas, the rolls, to make sure that I have a full meal. So when I walk in the door, the meal is prepared, and then I can just start working for whatever set amount of time. And then we get done recording this podcast, then I can go spend time with him. So, like, when I say the weight shifts, it's like there's a weight shifting of, okay, I need to become more efficient with my time. And then slash weight shift where he will take on some of the things that I couldn't do because it was really, I'm not gonna say impossible, but it was really hard for me to cook a full meal, do the client, do all the things, make sure I get all the housework done, all the other stuff. Now because I have that partnership, I have someone to help me to do all those things that I couldn't do because it was just me. Like I had to either outsource it or either things just got put to the side. And I was like, I'll wait till tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I mean by weight shifting versus the weight reducing.
Absolutely. And I guess another thing to add for that, and I don't know if you want to speak on this too, is when I think about so financially. So while I'm working the job, working a 9 to 5, but also trying to build a successful business and nonprofit. So my funds have to be placed into the business, baby, so I can make the business
Yeah,
baby grow first, right? But also I think about, if I had a partner to help with that and multiply what I'm having, day one plus my one equals two, does that also help the burden shift a little bit? Well, help, not burden, but help the weight shift a little bit to say, okay, so I don't have to, I guess, stress or think about that so much to
yeah,
speak. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I don't mind talking about it. We, well, first of all, while
But
you're
also, y'all know she is a financial coach, so this, so she's probably she was already probably budgeting definitely before he came along, but it's still the
yes.
same way.
Right. So I was ready to say disclaimer.
Yes.
The disclaimer before Jonathan got into the picture, I was budgeting. So before him, I knew where every dollar was going, every penny was going. And I say every penny because it bothers me when my checkbook is not balanced. I can't live with it being off like 15 cents. That bothers me. I cringe. But I digress. But no, seriously, when we were dating, we had the conversation about finances, what he had, what I had, what does it look like when we come together. So as far as the business is concerned, I actually before we got married, like probably I'll say 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years prior to meeting him, Profit First was the book that I read, and in that book was just talked about like literally taking the profit off top and paying yourself while building the business. And so I had these percentages, which I had already had percentages set up on the income that I was paying myself anyway. Now I just had more structure. So I have percentages for the business that every dollar that my business make is broken down into different categories. So it goes here, 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 this percent to profit, this percentage to tax savings, this percentage to paying myself, then the rest for operating expenses. Well, the piece that comes to the household, that piece is broken down into percentages. So when that comes in, you got tithe, savings, debt, pocket money, whatever, vacation, like whatever it is. And so when we got married, when we started having our budget conversations, because I believe in the philosophy of one. Like it's not my money, his money, it's our money. And so when we said I do, Pew Financial Coaching became Griffin's Pew Financial Coaching. Like he is a partner. Like he co-founder. You know, so so yeah, so we had a conversation, and I was just like, okay, this is what I've been doing with the income that I pay myself, but what do we do for our family? Like, how do we shift this now? And so we had a conversation about the percentages, and from there we broke it down. And when something is taken care of, we go back and reevaluate it. But it's literally like, just, I'm a spreadsheet person, so I plug it in and it's broken down. It don't have anything to do with our regular bills per se, because our regular bills is taken care of with our full time jobs. But that percentage is just broken down into pieces of what we take care of with it.
Great breakdown. Great breakdown.
Yeah.
So I don't,
I,
I think. Well, go ahead. What you gonna
no,
say?
I'm just saying. I was like, and I'll tell anybody like that. This don't have to be your process. Like, you have to figure out what works best for you. That's part of relationships is making sure that you have um same page communication, right? And so figure out what's best. Do not listen to this podcast and say and tell your husband, your wife, we need to do this. We need to do this because Latrice said it. Nope. You can say, hey, I heard this, and maybe we should think about how we should split our income so it's already pre-decided. I love pre-decision, but just taking that opportunity to pre-decide what we're going to do in advance, so when the increase comes, we already know what we're going to do. So you're preparing for the increase because you know the increase is coming. So I just add that little tidbit. That's my disclaimer.
I hope y'all write that down. Take notes now. And I guess because I can be honest with where I am currently, I know it's still work for me to do before I do get that partnership. Cause I
Yeah.
still got those little I guess we'll call it selfish ways because that's what I've been used to so far. So, but also I could add that with the nonprofit and the for-profit business and me working, it makes me think about if I was in a relationship with three people and I'm giving my energy, trying to give my energy to three different people, and nobody's getting 100% of me, and
Mm.
it's weighty and it's stressful. So that also makes me kind of think about to the point where it's like, should I even wind it down to one business? Like
Wow.
to focus on one thing and marry
Hmm.
that one thing and then build from there. So I just want to add that in because that kind of made me think about, would I be the same way when it comes to a relationship? Like if I
Right.
did get that partnership, would I still be trying to give energy to them, the job, the non-profit, the for-profit, and
So
I haven't even committed to myself.
yeah. So I'm a challenge that thought.
Don't do it. Don't
Because
do it.
yeah, hey, we recording now. It's
Yeah.
live. It's live now. So I'm gonna challenge that thought, and the reason why I say that is because I'm thinking about um the people you read in the Bible, like they weren't just talented at one thing. Like for instance, David. David was a warrior and a musician because he played the harp. He calmed down all the when Saul was struggling, he was the one who calmed him down, but he was also the one who fought Goliath. He was also one who was a warrior, right? So, and while he was doing the warrior stuff, he was still, once he took the throne, he was still a king. So he was a king, a warrior, and he was a writer. He wrote the songs, like he was writing songs and all the other stuff. So I wouldn't say that and this my personal opinion, right? So my personal opinion, I don't know if necessarily dwindling down to one is what you can do or should do, but it may be an opportunity for you to evaluate what to keep in mind what we talking about earlier, like those shifts, right? Like like for instance, if you are, I'm trying to think of like a really good example. Okay, you plant a garden, right?
Right.
So in the you have a season to harvest, you
Mm-hmm.
have a season to plant, you have a season to nurture the ground, you have a season to pull the weeds. Like all of those are seasons. And
Mm-hmm.
so while you're doing one thing, like it may be just an opportunity for you to understand the season of your business. It may be like in the winter, right?
Right.
In the winter, it may be winter for one of my businesses, but for my other business, it's the spring. So, and because it's the spring, I just might need to put more work in during that time. And then in the winter season for the other business or the other thing, that's my downtime. So I know that the only thing I need to do is like maintain, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so when we have these different hats or different um things that we have going on in our lives, especially it's not a matter of single or married, but when we have these different hats going on in our lives, you have to understand the ebbs and flows of it, so that you can balance the different things that are going on. And if you don't take the time to observe, how a business is truly flowing, then you can get caught in feeling like you're always in burnout. But it's just because of understanding, like, okay, this is when my peak is. So that's the focus right now, right? And so I would suggest, at least thinking about that, because it may be that just like, hey, this business is busy here, this business is busy here, and what do I need to do so that they work well together.
I'll take you up on that, challenging that thought.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
will. I will.
yeah,
I will
yeah.
because I've been back and forth with it for
Hmm.
a while now to because I'll be thinking, man, I just need to dwindle down on one, and then I'm like, but I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do because I'm supposed to
Hmm.
be here and there because honestly, they go together.
Right.
But it's just like you saying, it's different seasons, different work for each one, and understanding the ebb and flow to know, okay, this one in this season and this one in that season. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
I'll I'll take the challenge on that to step back and observe.
Yes.
But
Yes.
look,
Yeah.
I'm gonna segue away from that, and let's because I
She
know
said,
we
"Take me out the hot
yeah,
seat."
yeah, I'm getting out the hot seat. So, but we gonna get back and we finna both be in the hot seat now
Okay.
because I think me and you talked about this before when it comes to um we still talking about business and relationships, but we are believers. We're Christians and we love God, we love Jesus, right? So how does our relationship, or if what do you think about this? Your thoughts of our relationship and the reflection of us and the Father, and then like with you being married, and then I'll talk about me in preparation for marriage,
Okay.
right? But my relationship with the Father, and then just the reflection of that. Maybe
Hmm.
we can help somebody.
Yeah. So, where do I start? Because
Yeah,
because
yeah,
even
yeah,
since
yeah.
we've had that conversation, my perspective is different.
Because it's going to continue to grow.
Right.
It will grow.
Right. Right. So, I would say that. there's a verse. I think it's in Second Corinthians, and I'm pretty sure I shared the same verse with Trinice, where it talks about that when you're married, your desires are split, and like the whole verse is saying like, hey, your obligation is not only to God, but now it is to your
Yes.
spouse,
Yes.
and um and I took that to heart, like very seriously. Actually, I remember reading that verse and it finally sticking. You know, when you can read a verse like 15 times, and then that 15th time, you were like, wait, is this what he was saying? Well,
Mm-hmm.
when I read that verse for the first time, well, the first time when it really stuck, I was like, God, I don't want to get married. Like me and you, we cool. Like
Already.
we, yes, we right here. Like
Yes.
we on good terms. Like we spend time together. Like I could talk to you about anything. Like I don't want anything to disrupt that. Like
Right. Right.
no. And I remember talking to someone. I can't even remember who right now, but I remember talking to someone and I was telling them, and I was like, "Oh, you're definitely ready for marriage now," because when you understand the value of your relationship with God, and you understand the sacrifice, the commitment that it's going to take, like what that person is going to do by adding them to your life, then your mental purpose preparation is almost done.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, whoa, I don't know how I feel about that, but okay, but back to what you were saying. So I used to spend a lot of time with God, like watching sermons, reading His Word, journaling, or typing, um, and talking to Him a lot. And so, what used to be the time that I spent with Him is the time my husband at the house with me. He here, like he's not going anywhere. And he wants to talk to me. He wants to eat. uh he wants to watch TV. He wants to do all these things, and I'm like, in my mind, not out loud, but in my mind, I'm like, man, I could be reading the Bible, I could be doing this, so um what seemed like it seemed like all at once all of my time was taken away, like it was just ripped, like almost like ripping a band-aid off. Like that's what it felt like. Because when you say I do, like there's no transition period. It's not like, we spend 2 nights on, 3 nights off, and then after 3 weeks, then we start spending 7 days a week. Like, no, you go full fledged in immediately.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so I would say like at first it was just tough, but what I've learned is going back to what we were saying earlier, is just maximizing the time, being intentional with my time. Like if I'm going to listen to a sermon, or read a chapter a day, like really diving in. Or for me, which I've always been this way, but choose to talk to God throughout the day, not box him in to me sitting down, prostrate to like one spot in
Mm-hmm.
my bed. God is everywhere. So when I'm not saying what I learned, which I did before, but when I understood that He don't need a certain place in my house to talk to me. He can do it in my car. Like oh man, car rides like by myself, or like on the way home. Like God and I, we have like the best conversations. And so by just taking that time to just spend time and talk to Him, it just made life easier. But it took me a minute to get there, and just being able to accept it. And it really was like married friends who helped me to like, hey, you're not gonna be able to do that. But while you washing those dishes, girl, you can have some great time with God. You know?
Yeah.
So that's my thought process on that.
Yeah. I guess on mine, cause I read that same verse that you talking about, and it was probably a week or two ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I read it again, and I read it again, and I want to talk to somebody that could be possibly thinking it's too late, like you might feel like you're too old to get married, or possibly like giving up on that process. Cause I was there when I read that verse. I said, well, Paul's in here telling me that I should be like him anyway, because then it's all about me, God, and my purpose. That I don't need to split that time up to give to nobody else. You know what I mean? So I read that, but then at the same time, it made me realize either way that if I'm single or I'm married, it's okay. You know. So I just want to share that with somebody to know it is okay, depending on what your desire is. But if you're
Right.
not there yet, it is still okay. So don't
Yeah.
feel guilty or feel any shame about it. But
So
when I
how are you spending time with God now? Like what's your process with him right now?
kind of sort of like you throughout the day, I still have like when I get up in the morning, I call it uh the kingdom ambassador meeting. So I go to my meeting in the morning to talk and hear what the king talking about, so I can go out and carry his burdens. So that's what I do in the morning time. But all throughout the day, like mostly I set alarms too for my throughout the day prayers, or just a moment to talk. And then some
Mm-hmm.
stuff just be spontaneous. Where I be like, you know what, Lord, just thank you, or how you doing, just in spontaneity. um, but I do have to say that at once upon a time, I had that hunger where it was like I was reading the Bible all the time. I'm watching sermons. I'm on YouTube. I ain't had time for nothing. I'm like 2 hours straight reading some, journaling, doing all that. Can't wait to do it. Going to the park, praying, walking
Mm-hmm.
around, doing all like I had that moment. But now it's kind of split
Mm-hmm.
between what I'm walking out, the journey, the entrepreneur journey, is
Yeah.
split. And then I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my mom about something when Dr. Darius was talking about how it's not about feeling guilty when you don't spend as much time, because that season's not there for that right now. Like my
Right.
season is it's not needed for that. But yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah. He actually I went through or going through a study with him, and he was saying that you you read or you study the Bible, and according to your appetite,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yep.
According to your ailments,
Mhm.
according to your alignment, and according to your
Your
assignment,
assignment. Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And if one thing we can take away from this podcast is that what you need for God, He has an unlimited supply of what for whatever you
Unlimited.
need, and whatever season that you're in. So it could be like, for instance, for like the past two days, for example, like I was just reading Ephesians, and I just read the first verse of the chapter, and that first verse was enough to be like, whoa, and like I didn't even want to read like the rest of the chapter, because now I'm meditating
On that point.
on that one verse. In
Mhm.
fact, it was just two words. Honestly, it was two words of the first verse, and I was just like, man, like, wow, am I prepared to do something like that? And it
Mhm.
just really has you thinking. And so, because we can get into these traps of feeling like we need to be Bible scholars, but you
Oh
got to
yeah.
keep in mind that's who Jesus was mad with the majority of the
Bible
time.
scholars.
Right.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
the scholars because they weren't living out like
Yes.
living out the word. So yes, it's important to know, right? But
Mm-hmm.
you can be illiterate, no formal education, and have a better chance at getting in the kingdom than someone who is extremely educated with 15 languages, fluent in 15 languages, 8 degrees, more degrees than the
Yes.
thermostat, as they say. So it's education is important, but making sure that you live it out is the most important thing.
Most important. Totally.
Hmm. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
So look, I'll share this too. Before we time out because I got to thinking about when I was dating someone.
Oh,
Not
tell the
not too
story.
look not too long ago, and honestly, it was like I would probably cancel dates because I wanted to spend time on my business because I was used to it. But at the same time, I wanted them and I wanted to
Hmm.
be there, but I wanted it to be on my time, and I really don't think that was fair. And then now I kind of be thinking like, dog, I show miss should have went on that date, want to go on a date, but
Hmm.
I did curtail that because selfishly, just not sacrificing that time.
So, I'm not gonna give another challenge.
Now,
I'm not gonna
oh,
give another
I already
challenge.
have one. I,
Yeah, no, I'm not giving you another challenge. But I will say that, in the same way when you're married, you have to make time for that
mhm,
person.
mhm. Ooh,
While you, yeah, I know, right? I'm letting you know now. So when you're single, you still have to make time for the people in your life, like
yeah.
um, your friendships are your opportunity to learn more about yourself, right?
Mhm,
And what I mean by that is if none of your friends get to see you, if none of your family members get to see you, the chances of you being able to spend time with your spouse is slim,
mhm,
because marriage uh only magnifies what we were already doing.
mhm,
It doesn't
mhm.
it doesn't
You
it
said
doesn't
it.
eliminate it. It
Yeah.
doesn't flip the switch, does not flip overnight, you
Mhm,
know?
mhm,
So I think about one of the things that I did while I was single that really helped me. And one of my friends, like, we homegirls, super cool, whatever. But one of the things that we did years ago was that we started scheduling lunch like every week.
mhm,
And we would do lunch every week. Didn't matter. We didn't miss it. We went now. Recently, it's been a struggle, but she's engaged. I'm married, so we got two different lifestyles right now. But while both of us were single,
mhm.
we made sure to spend time with one another. Like, our friendship was that valuable because we wanted to hang out. We wanted to see each other.
Right.
And so now I can say, because I was intentional with that time, I don't have any problems with saying Friday night is date night, because there was a time where Friday night or Thursday or Wednesday from 11:30 to 1 or whatever, that was always my dedicated time to spend with my friends.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So by showing that dedication, being able to pencil that in, and there's no other way to say it, but to
Mhm.
pencil that in, that trained me to say, okay, if my friends are important to me, if I can prioritize that time with them, this not only helps me with building that relationship, but it helps me to build that skill, that mindset, that when I
Mhm.
am married, that I can pencil in time, I don't want to say pencil in time because I gotta be careful with that. But make sure that you prioritize the time with your spouse. So that wasn't a challenge. I'm just giving you an
It's
example.
it's not. Look, I already know. I am honest about this thing that I'm gonna have to go to relationship anonymous. I'm gonna have to go to a class because it's some work that needs to be
Right.
done for me. But
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
even like with family wise, my mama had to tell me like, you still working? Like take a break. So I
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
that's some stuff that I need to work on and start
Right.
put prioritizing that.
Please do.
I
Please
are
do.
I admit it. I
Mm.
am what they
Yeah.
call a workaholic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was a workaholic too though. So I mean, I'm a recovering workaholic.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes I have to watch myself because I can easily flip back to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you know who keeps me from doing that? Mister
Yeah.
Jonathan.
Yes.
Yeah, you know. So he is quick to say like, hey, you know, I want to, and it doesn't have to be in a forceful way. It could just be, you know, baby, I want to watch this movie. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, man, I really could be scheduling out social media posts for the next, you know, 2 weeks. He already
Amen.
know I'm already having, you know, writer's block and everything, and now I gotta find time to watch this 2 hour movie with him. My
Yeah.
attention span, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at the same token, but I'm like, I know that, but his time is important. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So just finding, making sure that I'm efficient with my time. So when I spend time with him, you know, I'm locked in.
And then look, that move in that moment probably be just what you needed, and you might your creative juices probably start flowing afterwards and everything.
hmm
Yep.
Well, it depends. It depends because sometimes I just want to go to sleep at that point. So, yeah. So because we usually watch the movies late, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's time to go to bed. But because it 9:30,
9:30.
right? 9:30. Yeah. So
If y'all don't know, y'all will know.
yes, yes. So, but no, it's interesting to just like I said, just balancing it out and seeing the transition. And I mean, as we go through this podcast, I'm excited to see your transition. You know, while you
Yes.
figure out your way, and then when you meet, you know, your significant other, your boo, and everything. So, and watch you go through that process because it's gonna be different. It's gonna
Yeah.
be different.
And
Yeah.
I'm sharing everything. I'm not holding nothing back. So y'all be prepared. Y'all y'all might have to give me a whole session in the comments. So be prepared.
Right, right. Yeah, well, we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together. So I'm like, I got it. I'm like, no, Trinish, no, you can't do that. No,
Yes.
like that's not gonna work. Yes, he is right. He is right. I support you, but
Oh,
he is also right.
that already hurt. Mm, mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So look,
But
guys, I hope y'all have been taking notes. I hope you've learned something, some resonated with you, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Again, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe because you never know what's gonna come out in our episode. We're all about empowering her, talking about this journey that we're on and continue to go on because we're gonna grow until we go. You wanna chime in, add?
oh no, man, that was
All
a
right.
great conversation because
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be definitely another part to this because
Yes.
again, our relationships are changing. They're always changing. So
Yes.
who we are now, you know, Trinice, when she's dating, when she's engaged, when she's married, me married, pregnant when that happens, you know, when
Yes.
God allows this to happen, when we have children, you know,
10
all
year,
that's
20-year anniversary.
right. So all that's going to shift and how we navigate that. So So just excited to see you all to be able to enjoy this journey with us
Yes.
as we grow with doing life while being entrepreneurs.
That's it. So, guess what? We'll see you next week.